The genie in the bottle is what most people know Barbara Eden as. But NBC execs did have a meeting about her belly button one time. To hide it on camera, they made strict clothing rules. Larry Hagman, who played her co-star, was drinking a lot and was barely able to do anything. Behind the scenes, she had to save his job. It was even more exciting in real life than on the show. She lived through a terrible marriage, lost a baby, and saw her son fight addiction for years. She's finally at peace at age 93. Your words will fail you on the trip, though. She was born in Tucson, Arizona on August 23, 1931. That day it was 104 degrees and she only weighed 5 pounds 3 ounces. Her dad wasn't even there. He was on the job at a building site about 90 miles away. It wasn't her name when she was born. The name on her certificate was just Baby Girl Moorhead for 3 days. They couldn't decide on a name for her. One wanted Jeanette and the other wanted Barbara. So they made peace. Barbara Jean. There was a lot of bad money around when she was born. When her parents split up in 1934, things got worse. Life was very hard in San Francisco, where Barbara and her mother moved. In 5 years they moved 7 times. At one point they shared a room with 12 other people. They could all use the same bathroom. It got so cold in 1937 that their pipes froze for 17 days in a row. She missed 28 days of school that year because she was sick. Her mom had 3 jobs to make ends meet. She worked as a phone operator, a waitress, and a weekend store worker. They only made about $16 a week even with all of that. In 3 years the power went out 14 times. She found ways to deal with things. She made up a friend named Francine in her head. Francine was a rich girl who was always warm and had 18 clothes. It was all the time that Barbara talked to her. It helped her deal with being alone while her mom worked non-stop. Her mother worked hard, but she was more than that. She could sing. The renter heard her humming Ave Maria one day in 1938. He was so moved that he agreed to cut their rent by 40% in exchange for shows every week. At family gatherings, Barbara would watch her mom sing. They didn't have enough money for music lessons, so they borrowed old headphones and went to the library to listen to opera records. On pieces of paper, her mom would write down tips on how to breathe and when to speak. Barbara got her first big moment on July 4, 1941. At a local war bonds gathering, another child performer got sick, so Barbara, 9 years old, was asked to step in. In front of a crowd, she sang God Bless America and helped raise $317, which is more than $6,000 today. A nearby daily even wrote about her. After that, Barbara's mom saved all the money she had to take lessons from Madame Voslavsky, a former opera singer. The lessons went on for 127 weeks straight, and cost $2.25 a week. It was already clear that Barbara was a talent by the time she got to Abraham Lincoln High School. It wasn't easy though. She tried out for cheerleading but didn't make the team. It was said that she was too shy and quiet. So she learned. She watched the best cheerleaders for 6 months, looked at their moves and practiced all the time. Her second tryout went well. She made the team and was the school's youngest senior cheerleader ever. She didn't stop there though. She made 7 brand new cheer routines that mixed dance and stage time. The school used them for almost 20 years because they were that good. She worked 22 hours a week at a cosmetics store, kept her GPA at 3.7, and joined 4 clubs. In 1948 she performed at a school gathering, and a radio host saw her and asked her to be on the show Youth Spotlight. She made $8.75 a week, which is more than $100 these days. That was her first paid job in show business. After high school, she had saved enough money for community college and a collection of professional photos. Barbara tried out for Miss San Francisco in 1951. It was her 4th try. She was cut early in 1949 and 1950. In fact, one judge said she had a bad stage appearance and a body that was too athletic. Barbara did not give up though. She trained with most of the money she had saved. For more than a year she walked around with encyclopedias on her head. She learned how to own the stage and move like a model. A diamond crown worth $3,500 was given to the winner of the 1951 event, which had 86 contestants. Barbara did stormy weather for the talent show with her own lighting setup, which she paid for herself and was worth $165, which is almost 2 months' pay. She won. That crown gave them more than just a title. It got attention. The first time she was on TV, she caught the attention of a Paramount talent agent. After only 6 weeks, she was taking an official test. She also kept working out. She took the streetcar to the San Francisco Conservatory of Music every Saturday to study singing. Paulina Giovannini, her teacher, showed her how to use and improve her lyric soprano voice. In the end, Barbara said, "Giovannini taught me everything." She also went to the Elizabeth Holloway School to learn how to act. Her teacher told her one day that she had to leave if she was going to do this. Visit New York or Los Angeles. Leave the nest. She did that. At age 20 she went to LA, but at first Louisiana wasn't very exciting. She was turned down all the time. One agency told her she wasn't pretty or busty enough, and should marry someone nearby. Someone else showed her a picture of his daughter and told her she needed a chest like hers to make it. They were mean and made fun of. She didn't give up though. Instead, she chose to focus on becoming a character actor. She said that some parts aren't meant for women with big busts. That shift in thinking was helpful. Soon after, one of those spies saw her again, and couldn't even remember, turns her down. She had to take a test and he told her, "You're going somewhere." In 1956 she got a small part in the movie Back from Eternity. Nobody even told her that she played a reporter. It was a start though. She also worked any job she could find. During the day she worked at a bank, and at night she was a chorus girl at a bar in Cairo. That spot was well known. She probably did shows for the people who had turned her down before. It was 1957 when Barbara Eden got her big break. She beat out about 70 other actors to get the lead part in How to Marry a Millionaire, her first TV show. The show was based on the 1953 movie with Marilyn Monroe. It showed three women living in a fancy New York apartment. All of them want to marry rich men. Loco Eden's character wore big glasses and made everyone laugh. When Loco looked through an art show window and thought it was a painting, it was one of the funniest parts. The second season of the show only had 13 episodes, but Eden's acting stood out. It made her famous. Eden didn't slow down after that. She was in almost every big TV show of the time from 1957 to 1964. She played a guest part on one of the very last episodes of I Love Lucy. She also played a manicurist on Perry Mason, a role that was so important that it was in the title of the episode. At that time, westerns were very popular, and Eden had a part in Gunsmoke Rawhide, where she worked with a young Clint Eastwood. The Virginian as well. She played roles in Route 66, Burke's Law, and The Andy Griffith Show, and she was good enough to play next to Don Knotts. It wasn't just fluff for these parts. Even though Eden was good at comedy, drama, and action, they let her show it off. The producers saw this. In 1960, her career was on the rise when it ran into Elvis Presley's. She played the king himself in the movie Flaming Star. Elvis played Pacer Burton, a mixed-race cowboy. This was a serious part that was very different from the songs he usually sang. United States and Utah were used to make the movie. In honor of the show, one place was later called Flaming Star Avenue. Eden thought Elvis was cool while riding a horse and surprisingly friendly during breaks. It was hard for him to lose weight, and he told her it showed on his face because he looked like his mother. He also talked about how his fame made him feel stuck. He couldn't even leave his hotel room. Elvis even talked about his relationship problems, most likely with Priscilla, who he said was too young. Eden saw something strange too. Colonel Tom Parker, who was in charge of Elvis, set up a desk on the set to sell Elvis memorabilia. It showed her how commercialized his world really was. Eden had shown she could do more than just TV by moving into movies in the early 1960s. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, a sci-fi movie from 1961, was about a nuclear submarine that is trying to stop the end of the world. People really liked the show. The movie made $7 million at the box office but cost $1.58 million to make. She had a part in The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm in 1962. It was common back then for MGM to take her from 20th Century Fox. Yvette Mimieux was supposed to play Eden's part at first, but the casting changed. Eden played a widowed librarian in 7 Faces of Dr. Law, which came out in 1964. The movie was set in a dream world made by a magical circus. In the same year she was in more movies, such as 5 Weeks in a Balloon, The Yellow Canary, The New Interns, and Ride the Wild Surf. It was clear that Hollywood had seen her because she was everywhere. After that, in 1964, The Brass Bottle came out. A man finds a genie in a bottle in a silly fairy movie. The man was played by Tony Randall. Burl Ives was the magic lamp. Eden was the fiancée of Randall. She was a normal woman who got stuck in the middle. The movie didn't do very well. In fact, the New York Times said it was about as funny as getting married. But everything changed. A TV director named Sidney Sheldon saw the movie and thought of a way to deal with it. A new hit show called Bewitched is about a witch who lives in the suburbs. He wanted to find a way to compete with that show. He thought Eden would be great in her own magical part after seeing her in The Brass Bottle. Sheldon began looking for people to be in I Dream of Jeannie in 1965. Instead of the blonde witch on Bewitched, he wanted someone with dark hair. 8 months, casting agents brought in tall dark-haired women with Middle Eastern traits who looked very different from the other women. They tried out 500 women. Eden wasn't even thought about until her agent sent the story. After that, Sheldon called her and asked her to tea at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Eden had charmed him on the Johnny Carson show years before, even though he didn't remember it at first. She did the best on the test. Even though everyone agreed, Sheldon still tried to get her hair dyed white. Eden said no. That moment changed the history of TV. She stayed blonde and a girl named Jeannie was born. As soon as the show started, Barbara Eden's belly button became a strange problem. Her dress would sometimes fall just low enough to be seen on camera. No one cared at first. But when a reporter came to the set and laughed with Eden about showing her navel, it caused a huge stir in the media. They called it the unseen navel in their report. All of a sudden, everyone was talking about it. There were jokes about it on other shows. Comic sketch show Laugh-In even planned a joke about it. NBC then stepped in. There was a real meeting to talk about Eden's belly button. After that, there were strict rules. Eden had to put on tights, pants, a bra and other clothes under her outfit to make sure nothing would show. After that, she made a joke. Some people are known for having very attractive body parts. There is a belly button on me. Behind the scenes, things weren't always fun and games. It was hard for Eden to work with her co-star, Larry Hagman. Their on-screen relationship got really bad. Hagman was upset and had started drinking a lot. Eden said that he was always professional while shooting, but at other times things were tense. By season 3 he was really drinking too much. NBC thought about replacing him. Eden stepped in to protect him. She told the people in charge that he was the best choice for the part. She had faith in him. She saved Hagman's house and he thanked her later. He still had trouble. He felt bad about other artists and once told Eden that she scared him in their first scene together. Eden was sure that they were meant to work together, even though it wasn't always simple. After the end of I Dream of Jeannie in 1970, Barbara Eden knew she had to move quickly. Even though she was well known, there was a real chance that she would have to wear that Jeannie outfit forever. She didn't want to start another sitcom, so she tried something totally different. In 1971, she and her old co-star Larry Hagman were both in a psychological movie called A Howling in the Woods. The part was scary and dark. There is no magic or humor in this story. There is only tension, mystery, and a woman who hears strange noises at night. Nevada's Lake Tahoe and Dayton were used to film it. Right then, Barbara Eden began to change how people saw her. A few tryouts, The Barbara Eden Show, and The Toy Game were the things she worked on. Neither made it to the series, but they weren't a failure either. They were steps. Eden was trying out different roles to show casting directors that she was more than just Jeannie. She played a centerfold model who died in Stone Street in 1977, which was her first role in a murder mystery. Like I said, there was no sparkle or ponytail. Just grit and tension. She slowly showed everyone that she could do more. Then there was a surprise hit. Eden played the lead role in Harper Valley in 1978. PTA is a movie based on a country song. She played Stella Johnson, a brave single mom who stood up to the mean school board in her town. It was sharp and funny, and Eden smashed it. In 1981, the movie was turned into a TV show because it was so well liked. She didn't just play the part again, she enjoyed it. For fun, she wore a blue and gold genie outfit in one show. In another, she played 2 roles, Stella and Della, her cousin, just like she did with Jeannie and her evil twin sister. The show was a hit from the start. It got 11 of its 13 time slots in its first season. It was later just called Harper Valley. At this point, Eden also became the face of Legs underwear. She was in TV ads, papers, and print ads all over the United States. She was everywhere again, but this time she chose where to go. Her life wasn't all lines and lights though. Her marriage to actor Michael Ansara took place in 1958. They met on a blind date set up by her agent to break up with someone else. They hit it off right away and skipped the Halloween party they were meant to go to. After they got married, Eden said, "He was the love of my life. For years, it was hard for them to have a child. In 1965, she finally heard the news. NBC picked up Jeannie the same day. She was having a baby. They used props and covers to hide her growing belly. In August of that year, Matthew was born. He made her happy. But happiness didn't make their problems go away. And Sarah's fame slowed down while Eden's rose. Things got tense. Eden got pregnant again in 1971, but the baby died a few weeks before it was due. The sadness broke them. She said later, "It broke up our relationship." After 16 years together, they split up in 1974. Even worse, Eden lost control of Matthew, who was 12 years old. He stayed with his dad in California while she moved to the East Coast. She said, "I cried a lot." Soon after, she was cast in a guest part on I Love Lucy. Desi Arnaz was after her in secret. She had to hide to get away from him during practices because he kept following her. She remembered that he showed up everywhere she went. "I'm not a stiff upper lip. I'm not interested in married guys though." He finally backed off and they were able to shoot their scene without any problems. The event, however, stuck with her. Desi cheated on Lucy and everyone knew it. The whole of Hollywood knew about it. Eden married Charles Fogart, a leader at a Chicago newspaper, in 1977. He did a lot to court her: flowers, love letters and charm. She left her son again when she moved to Chicago. Their home was very fancy. It wasn't a life. Fogart used drugs and drank a lot. He ran with a fast group and wanted to keep up the look of a playboy. The marriage turned bad. Eden left in 1982. It was terrible for 5 years. In 1983, she went back to Los Angeles. Matthew was a boy now, and she hardly knew him. He was moody and shut down. The teachers put up red flags. A drug test was offered by friends. The outcome was good. Eden was smashed. She didn't notice the warnings. Matthew denied all of it. She said that time was a great heartbreak. After that, she lived her whole life to save her son. Over the course of 14 years, there were rehab stays, relapses, and short times of hope. He quit drinking, got engaged, and trained to be a bodybuilder, but it didn't last. When he was 10, a friend who grew marijuana gave him his first drug. He was sometimes without a home. She would drive all over Los Angeles to find him. He got food from her. She gave him money, but she didn't trust him. Then there was June 25, 2001. At a Chevron gas station, Matthew's body was found in his truck. 35. It was caused by too much heroin. He had been clean. In 6 weeks he was getting married. When Eden got the call, she was going over wedding plans with him. She fell down. She told him, "He's 35 years old, but he's still my baby." The sadness never went away. She cried every day for many years. After making a name for herself in I Dream of Jeannie, Barbara Eden had to show that she could do more than one thing. It wasn't easy. There was only the genie bottle that people could see. But she shocked everyone when she joined Dallas in 1990, which was one of the most popular TV shows at the time. She played Leanne de la Vega, a tough billionaire. There was a whole new side of Barbara there. They are smart, cruel, and in charge. They had great scenes together, and fans couldn't get enough of them. Even though there were only 5 shows, they were all great. Even the maiden name of her character was Nelson, which was a cheeky nod to her time as a genie. That wasn't the end of Barbara. In the 1990s and early 2000s, she went on big runs of Last of the Red Hot Lovers and The Odd Couple, but as a woman. Even though she was in her late 60s, she never slowed down. She was great at both comedic and dramatic roles. She also showed that she wasn't just a TV star. She was beautiful no matter where she was. And then there was Sabrina, the young witch. Toward the end of the 1990s, Barbara played Aunt Irma, a funny and slightly crazy family member who had special abilities. It wasn't just a small role. She stole every scene. Teenagers who had never heard of Jeannie became huge fans of Barbara Eden all of a sudden. People watched a lot of those episodes. In the end, the producers said she was their ideal guest star. Children as young as 8 years old began to recognize her as Aunt Irma instead of Jeannie. Barbara also made a name for herself in ads. During the 1990s, she was in big ads for Old Navy, AT&T, and Lexus. People went crazy when she wore the Jeannie outfit for Old Navy again. Sales went through the roof. AT&T used her magical image in smart and funny ads for phone service. Then Lexus came along. In an ad that helped the brand win Car of the Year, she helped launch their high-end SUV. These ads were more than just a throwback. They showed that Barbara could stay interesting, funny, and strong in a whole new setting. She was a guest star on George Lopez in 2002. He loved Jeannie so much that he made sure everyone on set treated her like a queen. People from the crew lined up to get pictures. She was polite and professional, and she even made up lines on the spot that were used in the show. Ratings went up after that show. Lopez said that she taught him how to connect with people in a real way. In 2007, she was on Army Wives and presented shows like Ballroom with a Twist as well. She kept winning people over with her grace and ability even behind the scenes. But there was a long journey behind the fame. He is an engineer and real estate developer, and she married him in 1991. It was her third marriage. This one changed everything. Barb wasn't looking for love because she had been through two bad marriages. One ended when a baby was stillborn, and the other was a mess with drug abuse and addiction. But John made peace. She says they're loyal all the way through a lot. They've been all over the world together, to places like China and Africa. She says that his kindness and patience helped her find a calm and steady life. And John was her rock when things were really hard, like when she lost her son Matthew in a terrible accident. She didn't just give to her fans, she also gave to good causes. Through the Trail of Painted Ponies, she raised money for study into breast cancer. She worked for Make-A-Wish to make sick kids happy. She helped a lot of groups like Child Help USA, the American Cancer Society, the March of Dimes, and more. She didn't just give her name. She came, took the time, and spoke from the heart. She told me once they need someone to speak for them, and I always say yes. Because of her own pain, she did something very strong. Her autobiography, Jeannie Out of the Bottle, came out in 2011. It got to number 14 on the New York Times list of bestsellers. It was a real and honest book. She told Larry Hagman stories about her time in early Hollywood and her friendships with stars like Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe. She also told him stories from behind the scenes. She didn't hide the pain though. Her first child died in the womb, she was abused in her second marriage, and her son overdosed on heroin by mistake just months before his wedding. She said she never truly grieved the death of her unborn child. She felt guilty. She was able to finally deal with everything by writing the book. Not only did it become a story of fame but also of sadness and getting better. The world took notice. Barbara won several Lifetime Achievement Awards, such as ones from TV Land, the Broadcasters Hall of Fame, and the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. At 7003 Hollywood Boulevard, her star is on the Walk of Fame. She was the lead in more than 25 movies and 19 hit TV movies. People magazine even named her one of the 200 most important pop stars of all time. These were more than just awards. They stood for a job built on skill, dedication, and happiness. She didn't slow down even when she was 90 years old. She was still going to meetings all over the United States in 2024, when she was 93 years old. She went to the Lexington Comic and Toy Con, Fanboy Expo in Orlando, and the Hollywood Show in Los Angeles. People lined up to say thank you as well as get pictures. She talked about herself, answered questions, and was friendly to everyone. People were amazed by her drive. She still gave money to good causes like Child Help and Make-A-Wish, that showed her age hadn't changed her at all. The year 2021 came along. Barb and her husband both got COVID-19 when they were almost 90 years old. They got through it together even though it was scary. She talked about it while pushing Barbara and the Gin, her book for kids. She was honest about her health and her faith. Again, the fact that she lived through that showed how strong she was. She kept going out for friends and causes even after that. She now lives with John and their 60-pound Labradoodle, Bentley, in Benedict Canyon, Beverly Hills. Their house is full of love, memories, and warmth. Not a big house with lots of noise. It's a quiet place to go. The walls are covered with pictures and souvenirs from her work life. John and she go for a walk, loves their garden and having people over to their warm lived-in house. She found peace after all the chaos in Hollywood, and it shows.